funding deal for Ukraine has been agreed by European leaders. The money is locked in for 4 years and gives Ukraine some stability in its war with Russia. The leaders had to overcome objections from Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orban, who blocked the package last December. Today, President Zelensky has described the deal as a guarantee for victory. Let's go live now to Mariia Zolkina, Research Fellow in the Department of International Relations at the LSE. Hello to you. Thank you so much for talking to us. So tell us about this deal. How crucial is it to Ukraine?
Thanks for having me. This deal is really crucial because it shows actually that European Union is acquiring ever greater role in supporting Ukraine in the time of political domestic turbulence in the US, who were the main leader so far after February 2022. And the more ever importance is related basically to the way how this decision was reached, was made. Basically, all the attempts of Hungary to blackmail other 26 member states failed, and Hungary received a very clear and strong response from Germany, from Italy, and from all other states, including former ally of Hungary, Poland, that it's not possible to bargain around financial and military aid for Ukraine.
Mariia, and you mentioned Hungary there, of course. Viktor Orban tried to block this move back in December. The meeting was first thing this morning, and really the deal was struck very, very quickly. I think a lot of people were surprised by how quickly it was struck. What do you think was being said within that closed EU summit room?
Viktor Orban met the representatives of Germany and Italy first, and basically that was the crucial moment, I suppose, because after that no questions were put on the table by Hungary. Viktor Orban appeared to be just absolutely lonely in terms of his attempts to stop and to seize the support to Ukraine, and he failed. Especially, I think, the previous policy, which was policy signals towards Hungary that Hungary will not receive what they want in response to their blackmailing, were also crucial. And basically, the December attempt was also only partially successful for Viktor Orban. He was given a signal that even if he vetoes right now on ad hoc summit this package aid to Ukraine, then they will find another solution to help Ukraine on a bilateral member states basis. It would be much more difficult and complicated, but nevertheless, the aid would go to Ukraine anyway. So there was no way out for Hungary but just to silently agree.
There were some strong words by various EU leaders in the run-up to the meeting. Donald Tusk said as he was going in that Hungary had to decide whether it wants to be part of our community or not. Obviously, the deal has now been struck, but where does this leave EU unity going forward?
I think that EU unity is now possibly not according to the desire or first and foremost priority of some member states, but is going to be something very strong, very strongly needed. And basically, in the times when US was the main leader of all kinds of support to Ukraine in terms of financial scope of support, in terms of scope of military aid to Ukraine, and any other types of the aid. So now US is being shaken by domestic discussions, and this impacts their decisiveness and ability to help Ukraine. And Germany and Italy and France and even Eastern European states, which are less rich but more determined to support Ukraine, understand they must to get a leadership role now, at least for 2024. For that reason, the unity we saw today is going to last at least for this year until presidential elections in US happen.
Let's talk about the military situation in Ukraine, because this deal is struck on the day that the Ministry of Defence in Ukraine say that they've sunk another Russian warship in the Black Sea. We've been showing footage which has been released on social media. It does appear to show the missile carrier, that's the Ivanovets, being struck by several explosive sea drones. Ukraine has had success in the Black Sea, hasn't it?
Absolutely. This is a specific success story which is already being studied by military experts and will be put into the handbooks for military operations for the future, because without sea fleet at all, Ukraine has managed to push Russian Black Sea fleet from the Black Sea almost entirely. So before that, Crimea served not only as a main military basis for land forces of Russia, but also mainly for Russian Black Sea Fleet, which blocked the free navigation in the region at all. So now Russia has completely lost Crimea as the basis for its Black Sea Fleet, and they had to move everything after flagships were sank starting from 2022, and flagship Moskva, and continued with several more. So all the Russian ships are now in Novorossiysk or even further. So basically, Russia is trying to find another basis, even not in the Black Sea at all, to save actually the other ships. So drones, creative approach, longer range missiles to destroy military infrastructure of Russia in Crimea. Those are the key to success of Ukraine to free actually the channels for navigation in the Black Sea and reopen export roads for Ukraine via the sea.
So you've talked there about success in the Black Sea. There's the €50 billion deal, which has obviously been hugely welcomed in Ukraine. There have been issues reported, because clearly this has been going on now for nearly 2 years. The stress on Ukraine itself, both politically, economically, socially, is huge. And there are reports that President Zelensky has, in a sense, fallen out with the head of his armed forces, Valeriy Zaluzhny. What do we know about that? It's been reported. What do we know as fact? And what does this say about the current situation within Ukraine and the political setup in Ukraine?
In terms of facts, we know that such an attempt took place to offer President Zaluzhny to be dismissed according to his desire. He refused. And basically in this position, he was and he is still backed actually by the defense forces, by the huge support of Ukrainian society. 90% of people in Ukraine having trust into the Ukrainian defense forces, and they associate this kind of trust with several important figures.
Mariia, I'm right, is that he might not be a very well-known figure outside of Ukraine, but in Ukraine, Valeriy Zaluzhny is a hugely important figure, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. And what is the most important, that he is benefiting from huge trust and support from inside the army, from people who are under his command. So basically, President Zelensky having some political tensions with Valeriy Zaluzhny, mainly because of the question how the mobilization of the people to the army should look like in 2024 and 2025, and partially because of the future plans and the results of counteroffensive in 2023, President Zelensky is a little bit limited politically, because there is no so many generals who will be young, oriented on NATO standards, and talented, and having like a huge credit of trust and support from inside the army as President Zaluzhny. That's why we truly believe as experts that there should be just a technocratic solution to this kind of temporary tensions and between military leadership and President Zelensky, instead of trying to solve the issue by dismissal of the main generals, not only Zaluzhny.
Mariia Zolkina, research fellow at the London School of Economics. Really good to talk to you. Thank you so much for your thoughts, your insight today. Thank you. Around the world and across the UK, this is BBC News.